let's take a look at some season stats up to date, as we've just passed the deadline and we kind of move into that evaluative part of the season where we really have to take a hard look at some of our players and really feel out what we want to do with them moving forward. And yes, you did notice a couple new members of the team. I'll explain how we got those in a sec and why. But here we go, take a look at some team stats and check that out. We're not only first in opponents' points per game, but we're also last in points per game. So that tells us our defense, exceptional. Our offense, not as much. And that's like we're going to have to target moving toward the offseason. But here's the trade we made at the deadline. I've talked before about how I wanted to move the 2 expiring contracts of Jameer Nelson and Chris Humphries. I get a big 2-year contract in Zach Randolph, but also acquire a 2015 first-round pick. I'm going to talk about that trade in a little bit. And we also signed Roddy Boubois to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. We had some extra money laying around, and I decided I would give it to a player who was once thought of as one of the best assets in the game, and maybe we can turn him around and, I don't know, try to at least turn him into some sort of asset. That'd be nice. But nonetheless, we're going up against the Utah Jazz in this game, and the first 6 minutes of this recording were lost because the Elgato software just didn't record it or something. Not really sure what happened. But nonetheless, so we're picking up 6 minutes to play in the first quarter, and it was 10-9. Now it's 13-11, or 13-11. Now it's 15-13. I don't know what I'm saying, but nonetheless, this is Brad Stevens versus his old college player, I guess, Gordon Hayward, and it's a relationship that is a very strong one. And a lot of people talked about Gordon Hayward possibly coming to the Celtics in the offseason, since he will be hitting restricted free agency. But we'll see if that happens. I'm not too sure if I'd be fond of that. Kind of depends on the contract as always, but nonetheless, I think Gordon Hayward's a good young player. And so let's talk about that trade that I did. The main thing getting in that was the 2015 first round pick, but I also have a strategy with the Zebo contract as well as the Andrea Bargnani contract. So I wanted to get the 2015 first round pick. That gives us 3 first round picks in each of the next 2 drafts. That means we have plenty of assets to potentially trade up in the draft if we have to, or now that we have those what will be giant expiring contracts next year, we kind of have the option to be able to trade for a big name superstar, maybe on a $10 million or $50 million contract, and then throw in a couple picks, maybe throw in Kelly Olynyk or Marshawn Brooks, a couple other young assets that we have. So that's why I wanted to get the Zebo contract. I thought it made a lot of sense. He kind of gives us a weird team right now. Like, this is probably the most dysfunctional you're ever going to see this team. We have like 7 big men on the roster, and Zebo's like our 6th man, even though he's our highest overall player. But, you know, you just got to ignore that. I mean, this season is far lost. You saw earlier, we're now, 11th or 12th in the Eastern Conference. We're on like a 13-game losing streak, and, you know, we were 21-24, and now we're like 21-36 or something. So, you're 21-37 heading into this game. So, I mean, the season's pretty much lost, which is fine. That's what I wanted it to be. I wanted to really start tanking it hard in the second half of the season, and the team has definitely turned it around in that aspect. But nonetheless, so, you know, it'd be kind of a dysfunctional group of players right now, but you got to not worry about that. I guarantee you either Andrea Bargnani or Zebo will not be on the roster at the start of next year. And now we have all of these assets, which I'm really looking forward to being able to flip for something. And this, you know, people always talk about, oh, I don't want you just building with 5 rookies in the draft. That's boring and too typical in associations. That's not what I plan on doing. I have, like I said, 3 first-round draft picks in the next 2 drafts. 2 of them in each of them, my pick and the Magic's pick, will be pretty high, I think, probably top 15. And then I have the Grizzlies and the Knicks pick, the Knicks in 2014 and the Grizzlies in 2015. Those will be probably in the 20s. You know, the Knicks are actually pretty good in 2K, but not like in real life. But yeah, so those are probably in the 20s. But those are still assets you can use to flip. Sometimes good players fall there anyway if you try to hold on to those picks. We also have Kelly Olynyk, Marshawn Brooks. They both have trade value. And then Zebo has some trade value in himself, so if we used him to end up acquiring like a big name. And the reason I wanted the Zebo contract specifically, well, I didn't really target him specifically. The trade popped up in my trade finder, but the reason I like the Zebo contract is it's a different range than the Bargnani contract. So Bargnani is like $11 million next year. Zebo's like $17 million. So if we want to trade for a player that's available that's making like upwards of $15 million, then we can use the Zebo expiring instead of the Bargnani expiring. That's why I really like having those. One of those guys will probably end up staying on the team next year. One of them is going to be dealt. I can guarantee that. And like I said, we have all this extra assets to possibly make a move. So my goal right now is to get a, trade up for like a top 5 pick in the lottery. I really want one of those top 5 guys, and probably, I don't know if I'm going to look to acquire that superstar at the beginning of the year or like, mid-season, but I'd like to pair him with a superstar kind of immediately and get this team kind of rolling, make it a little bit more entertaining for you guys, make it a little bit more entertaining for me, and kind of get this thing rolling.
Yes, guys, I'm here with Derek Favors, and Derek, a big effort for you in that first half. Did Coach call on you to come out here and be productive early on?
Oh, yeah, I know our coach wanted me to be aggressive, and I came out and I was aggressive.
You certainly were. Thanks for the time. Guys, back to you.
So that's the plan for right now, and I'm going to talk about some of the stats that I showed you guys in the beginning of the video because I did not show them for no reason. You can get the idea that our team is very offensively challenged, as you might expect with our roster, but our team is incredible defensively, and that opponent's points per game and the opponent's field goal percentage have gone way down since acquiring Omer Asik. I know you guys really weren't all for the Omer Asik trade, but oh my goodness, he has been such a difference maker, and he's starting to put up some offensive numbers too. He has actually, I don't think he has this in real life, but in this game he has a nice jump shot, really from like 18 feet. And he can stretch the floor a little bit in that sense. He's really good down low. He's big and strong. He's a big body. And what that allows him to do is back down smaller defenders pretty easily. And by smaller defenders, I mean guys who like aren't 7 feet and 250. Like anyone who's lesser size than that, he can really back down. And anyone who gets good post position can put up a hook shot. You don't have to have amazing touch around the rim to do that. So that's what he does really well. He's actually become a really, really good offensive big man for me, which is surprising. And I don't think this game is the best example of that, but I was playing a couple games, a couple other games. We held opponents to like 70 points. Asik dropped like 16 and 10 one game, then like 20 and 12 the next game. It's been like really fun and exciting using him. And check out this nice little finish right off the glass. Didn't have, a great position, but he has better touch than, maybe his real life counterpart does. But nonetheless, I'm really excited with what I've seen out of him. He's a fantastic rebounder too. He's second in the team in rebounds, I believe, and he has the highest rebounding rate of anyone on the team, which is like an analytical stat if you guys don't know. But anyway, so like I'm really liking how the team defense is working. The offense is where we need to improve, and that's what we do in the draft and the offseason. We're gonna have to look for some sort of scorer, some guy who can come in and take over. And what I really wanted to have in that type of player is a guy that in the last 6 minutes of a game I can say, go get me 2 points, and he can get me 2 points. And I know that that's not really like, you're never going to be able to find the guy who can give you 2 points every time, but I'm saying like, I need to have a guy who I can give the ball and confidently say he's going to get me 2 points or whatever, so to say. I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but nonetheless, that's what we're really going to be looking for in the offseason. And let's get into this gameplay. I haven't really talked about the gameplay too much in any of my videos. I promise I'll do it a little bit more in the next video because there's nothing really going to be happening in between this video and the next one. It's just going to be probably the final game. It might be like a wrap-up episode of the series, or the season, I should say, not the series. Then we'll head into the off-season for episode 10. But you can see Y1 Moore getting some crunch time minutes here. I have my bench in to spare my starters a little bit, who are all a little bit tired at this point. I've been playing them a lot because I was really playing effectively with the Asik and Sullinger on the floor together, but there Trey Burke gets to the basket. Burke was killing us with his penetration all game long. We're in this game, though. We could try to end our 13-game losing streak. Y1 Moore to the basket. And Y1 Moore, I decided I was going to give some crunch time fourth quarter minutes. As you can see here, I ended up subbing out Gerald Wallace in my starting lineup and then putting in Y1 Moore. So we have 3 guards on the floor right now. Moore provides us with a bit more shooting, as you can see right here, but he was also penetrating really effectively and getting to the hoop, and I was really liking what I saw out of him today. So, we might have to keep him around. I think he's on a 1-year deal, but I'd love to sign him for cheap and keep him as maybe my 4th guard or something. But nonetheless, check out the hustle right there by Trey Burke. We get a couple blocks in the possession, but he gets his own rebound each time and finally gets an and one to go. Here's that Asik jump shot I was talking about. He just in rhythm, swished that, no problem. And I'm really liking what I see out of Omer Asik these days. But Gordon Hayward to the hoop, just getting right by Gerald Wallace. That is not what you want to see out of one of our best defensive players in Gerald Wallace. And now here is Enes Kanter. You got to give credit to him on that. Asik did all he could on that, but Kanter contorted his body and was able to get around and finish that one for 2. Here we go, Asik in the post, chance to give us the lead. He misses. Favors on the boards. They're going to call timeout. 13 seconds chance for the last shot. Alec Burks with the ball being covered by Avery Bradley. Gives it down low to Hayward, who finishes right on top of Gerald Wallace. 7 seconds to go. Inbound Y1 Moore. And he's going to almost lose this. Bradley dribbles, gives it to Moore. He's got an open look. And it's no good. We end up losing our 14th straight game. Ladies and gentlemen, it is tank time in Boston.
Well, Derek, you guys came into tonight's game following a tough loss last time out. How important was it for the team to get this game here tonight?
It did for us. We came out last game and play like bombs, basically. So we just want to come in and make a statement this game so that we working hard and improving and just try to get a win.
Well, terrific bounce back, Derek. Thanks for the time. Guys, over to you.
But anyway, we did all we could. We got Eton Moore, great open look and a broken play, and he just could not convert. So, anyway, as I said, we take home the loss 98-96. I still liked how we played in the game. Obviously, it was not one of our better games. Like, I played a game against the Lakers where we almost won by like 20 points or something, and then, of course, I was recording, but my disc ejected because my PS4 disc tray is a little faulty. But nonetheless, that happened. And then, I can't remember what happened in the Phoenix game I was recording. I think I just lost the file for that. Because when I was switching computers, I just left it behind or whatever. But nonetheless, Jared Sullinger, 19-8, good game out of him. One thing I've noticed out of Jared Sullinger is he's putting up big offensive numbers, but he's shooting a low percentage, which tells me he is not the type of player that should be taking, 15 shots a game on offense. We're going to have to try to pair him with a better offensive player to try and, relieve him of some of those offensive duties. And hopefully his efficiency will go back up. But nonetheless, that's pretty much going to wrap this video for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. And so I'm out. Peace.